Hey guys, it's Leo with Dreaming Tree, and in this video we're going to reply to a customer email. Leonda writes, I have made 9 of the Bumblebee cottages. It's easy as the SVG is loaded into Cricut Design Space, so I load it, size it, and off I go. But when I want to do 2 remaining houses from that set, I have to import the SVG. That's easy, but there are so many parts. If I import each one and then import all into Design Space to size, it messes up my score lines. I end up with the first couple of mats, just score lines, but then it's impossible to see which score lines belong to which board. Okay, I know I could work it out, but is there an easier way? And also she wants to know if there's a way to import everything all at the same time. So Leonda, right now, there's not a way to import everything at the same time in Design Space. There's no bulk upload feature. But as far as the score lines are concerned, technically, that's normal. What we do is we separate the score lines onto layers so that you have the ability to change what you want to do with these score lines. So with the announcement of the new Cricut scoring tool, because we did it this way, you can actually go in here and double click on the score lines and change those to score. Okay, so there's a benefit to this, even though it takes a little more time to get everything prepped. Now, with that said, the easiest way, especially if you've got a bunch of files open here, to attach the score lines is to use your layers section here on the right hand side. You could make the screen a little bit smaller or zoom out and click on each one and then hit attach on the bottom right and get the files attached, or you could also select the files here as well. So you'll notice under layers here, anytime a file is already attached, you'll see the word attach above it. Okay, so let me show you an example here. This rosette piece here, and let me see if I can, actually it's right here, it's already highlighted. Let me just delete this. Get that out of the way for a second. This rosette piece here, you can see that there is a score mark layer. If I click the little eyeball next to this layer that doesn't really have a color, you'll notice that it turns off the score marks. That's the actual score mark layer. This is where you can double click on the little scissor and change it to score, should you want to do that. Okay, but what you can also do, instead of having to dig through all this and click on the files here, you can actually select the files by clicking on the file name here in the layers on the right hand side. So I clicked on rosette_1_white, and as you can see, it selected this layer. So then I can easily click the attach button on the bottom right to attach that. Okay, now before I go and start doing that, for those of you that are maybe new to this and are seeing this issue, and it's not really an issue, but when you import our files and you hit make it, sometimes if you don't attach the files, you'll notice that you get a bunch of mats with just these little marks. These are all of the score lines. That's normal. Okay, so now what you want to do if you see something like that is go through your layers here and find any file. This is the beginning of the file here. It's got the name, and then check to see if it has more than one layer. And I'll show you what a file without more than one layer looks like. This file here, it's a little baby's head, and it doesn't have 2 layers. Like you can see here, you've got 2 layers under Elements Ocean. That to me indicates that there's some score marks that need to be attached. This piece here does not have any. Let me see if I can pull that out real quick so I can show you there. Okay, so you can see the baby's head, and there's no score marks on it. Okay, it is black, so I mean you wouldn't be able to see it, but there's no score marks on this one, so we don't need to do anything to this. But now let's scroll back up to the top of the layers. And let's just begin at the top. Here's elements 1 underscore linen pattern. Just highlight it. Just make sure that everything's highlighted, not the individual layer. You see here we can actually click on the individual layer, but what we want to do is click on the actual group. So that selects the cut lines and the score lines. So as long as this whole item here is in gray, we can hit attach. Okay, and then what you see here is now it shows the word attach under this file that we just attached. So we can just work our way down. Next file here is this elements blue. This guy here. You don't have to drag it over. I'm just illustrating something here. Okay. And that one I already attached previously in this video. So let's take a look at elements blue. That's this piece here. Now we have not attached that because it does not have the word attach above it, but we can select it here and then just hit attach. Okay, let's keep going down the line here. So we've got two files that are attached here. You can kind of hide those so that they don't confuse us if you want. You don't have to. But here's main 2 white. Doesn't matter where it is over here. Just select it, hit attach, and we can hide it. Here's the next one, and just hit attach. Let's hide that one. Okay, now here's another one, panel lavender. You'll notice there's not 2 layers under this name here, only one. That's this piece, this lavender piece here. And there's no score marks on it, so we don't need to attach that. There's nothing to attach. Let's keep on moving here. Let's go main 4 white. There's some score lines there, so as long as this whole thing is highlighted, you can hit attach. Okay, and then elements ocean. That one needs to be attached too because it has 2 layers under it. So make sure you select the whole file and hit attach. And let me just put this away here. And the head black, that one again, you can see here there are not 2 layers under the file head black. Nothing needs to be attached there. Panels, orchid, linen pattern, that does need to be attached. There's score marks, and then there's the cut file. So we just make sure that the whole file, not the individual layer, but the whole file is selected, and hit attach. And main white actually has 3 layers, 2 score layers and a cut layer. So I'm going to hit attach. So that's done. And the final one here, the rosette one, which is this guy here. You can, if you want, you can select the file here by clicking on it instead of clicking it here. Clicking here on the actual file or clicking here in the layers to select the file is the same exact thing. And then we just hit attach. And now, when we hit make it, you'll see here that all of the cut files, along with all of the necessary score marks that go along with those cut files, are all going to cut together on the same layer. Now, we technically actually recommend that if you have an Explorer Air 2, or Explorer Air 1, we actually do recommend that you cut the score marks. You can try to change the score marks to use the score tool, but for items like this, we feel that the score tool is too blunt and it doesn't give enough pressure to make sure that it folds as accurately as we need it to for some of our more complex 3D projects. So for example, this, I would not use the score tool for this. Okay, it's not gonna be nice and precise, and it may not fold properly. So I don't recommend it. I would much rather that you cut that with the actual blade. So leave the score marks. You can see here. Here's the score marks. I would leave those to cut. If you have the new maker with the scoring tool, that I would try and see how that works. But that should be it for this tutorial. If you have any questions or would like to see a future tutorial, please visit us at 3dsvg.com and use the contact form to submit your request.